The balance of my time.
Without objection, balance of the time is yielded. Gentleman from Texas.
Mr. Speaker, I yield myself as much time as I may consume.
Gentleman's recognized.
Madam Speaker, I rise today in support of H.R. 7006, the Disaster Tax Relief Act 2008, a bill that provides targeted tax benefits to victims of federally declared natural disasters. As the chairman and gentleman from New York said, we've had a tough year here in the United States for disasters across this country. Most recently, Hurricane Ike, which hit the Gulf Coast and in Texas especially, will likely be the worst storm to hit Texas in 50 years, has damaged or destroyed about $52 billion worth of our homes and our businesses. It is far worse than Hurricane Rita that just hit us 3 years ago, and this is the region of Texas that was so quick to open their homes and their hearts and their churches to those victims of Hurricane Katrina. So it feels a bit like we're being piled on. And we looked at areas in Galveston and Bolivar, in Orange and Bridge City, where the storm surge destroyed thousands of homes, damaged so many businesses, and have left people homeless. Today, 11 days after Hurricane Ike, despite heroic efforts, 250,000 people are still without running water, and many more still without power as the Texas heat continues to bear down on them. So these folks are suffering. They need our help now. Damage from the hurricane was widespread and lives were disrupted and destroyed. Yet here it is 11 days after Hurricane Ike, and to its credit, this Congress, which I have criticized at times as not moving quickly enough or substantively enough, has moved quickly to respond to the needs of not just Texas, but Louisiana, the Midwest, and throughout this country, and I am grateful to them for that. I'm encouraged that Congress responded so quickly, and I urge my colleagues to support this assistance. I, along with my good friend and colleague, Congressman Al Green from Houston, along with the Texas delegation, introduced a bill, much like Congressman Kynes, to provide even more expansive tax benefits to Hurricane Ike victims. While we hope Congress will consider it in the future because it has some key provisions important to our recovery, this legislation today is a very good step forward, and especially coming so quickly after the hurricane. This bill will provide Texans and others such much-needed help through a variety of tax relief measures. One provision is enhanced casualty loss deduction, which in plain English just allows families to write off more of the property loss from Hurricane Ike and other disasters without regard to their adjusted gross income. We are increasing low-income housing tax credits by $2 billion under this bill. That's important to help those who most need housing. Another provision is the ability to allow states to use mortgage revenue bonds to provide loans to repair or reconstruct homes and rental housing units that are now unsafe for use as residences because of hurricane damage. And additionally, we all must recognize that the business community, those who provide our jobs, experience severe disruption and damage from Hurricane Ike. To help businesses recover quickly, this legislation will allow them to write off and immediately expense costs for disaster recovery, including demolition, repair, cleanup, and environmental remediation. Any business with net operating losses from the disaster, and there are many, will be allowed to carry back those losses for 5 years, which means they'll be able to put more money back into recovery, into putting workers back to work and getting back into business, which is important for property values and sales tax values in our affected communities. And also the Treasury Department is authorized under this bill to permit states to issue $13 billion of tax-exempt bonds to finance the replacement, the repair, the reconstruction, or renovation of business property damaged or destroyed by a federally declared disaster like Hurricane Ike. And I believe these private activity bonds are a critical tool to help damaged businesses through these hard times. And we should not forget the remarkable charitable work that people and businesses provided to their friends and neighbors in hard times. I witnessed this myself throughout our district that was hit so hard. We've seen this in past disasters. And to assist those who come selflessly to work so that they do not get hit so hard by the high price of gasoline, the mileage reimbursement rate for charitable work will be increased, and moreover limits for charitable relief contributions in response to a federal disaster are waived. This is a very important bill, and while I strongly believe that and hope the Congress might take a look at additional measures in the future, this bill is a crucial first step, and I strongly support it. With that, I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman reserves. Gentleman from Wisconsin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Speaker, I rise obviously in support of the legislation. I do want to take a moment and thank my good friend from Texas,